Hello and welcome. This is Roofmonger with another tips and tricks guide. It's time for Supergirl. I actually tried to make a Supergirl guide before, but got deleted by accident, so, let's try again. Anyways, so just go over some stuff with Supergirl real quick. The main thing to make Supergirl worth playing is her trait. It's fantastic projectile, knocks down on hit, has this snazzy full power thing, air versions, this weird thing. Whole kit and caboodle, right? So outside of just using it for the obvious and zoning people, it has some good properties like every laser is safe on block. So say we have here, we're blocking and you're doing whatever string and you just want to make sure nothing's going to happen, like her back 1-2 string. It has a follow-up that is punchable by down 1 for almost all characters on block, for example, right? So if we just go back 1-2 and then end in the ground laser, you're still negative, so technically it's their turn afterwards, but it's only -2, and you're completely safe. No fuss, no muss. You can't really do much about it. And a quick note about that, since we just moved into the corner. Any combo ending in a down laser, especially in the corner, is also a good source of meterless damage. Because after that, we could do a float combo, or what have you. But even then, just back 1-2 into that, it's more damage than we would have got mid-screen, right? So it's a good little tip to keep in mind. Now, that said, the laser is also very fast. Some characters like Wonder Woman with their shield toss or Aquaman with the tentacle from the deep, if you block it, straight laser is actually a guaranteed punish. It's free damage if you block it, even from full screen, doesn't matter. So it's another little handy feather in her cap. Another reason why this trait is so good. Like, once again, it knocks them down. So if you're in a mode, or rather a mood just to keep throwing lasers, every time they guess wrong, it's back to full screen and they gotta start the whole guessing game all over again. It's fantastic, can't stress that enough. Now, I would like to quickly go over her float timings for her combos in the corner. I know some people are having difficulty with that. So, generally it could be like whatever starter, and it always revolves around the 4-2-3 reps. So you do 4-2-3 float, which is down back 1 in the air. And since you jump up, you're airborne at the end of 4-2-3. So, what you're actually doing is waiting for the float to initially run out, and then hitting 1 or 2, depending on where you are in the combo state, right as you're falling and ending the fall. This lets you keep the loops up. So practice does make perfect. I botched this an incredible amount of times before I personally got used to it myself. But just once in mind, don't hit the attack right as you fly. You wait a split second, wait for the fly to end, and then you hit whatever attack you're going to hit. So please keep that in mind when you're attempting those combos. Next thing I'd like to go over is her standing 1-1-2 string, which is this. So it is one of her main combo starters, which is always handy. So, you go into like Ice Breath, what have you. But one of the more valuable properties of this, and it's fairly unique, so the string rather, is plus on block, which are fairly rare, but most moves, or rather most strings that are plus on block, are not main combo starters, and for her it is both a combo starter and plus on block to boot. So if you're not aware of the term plus on block, if the opponent blocks your string, it means it's still your turn. Now you can't go crazy or whatever, like if you try to do 1-1-2 and do like back 3 or some crazy stuff like that, you're going to get beat. It effectively means once you do this and it's blocked, you establish down 2. If they hit any button, down 2 hits. And you want to keep doing this until eventually they stop hitting buttons. Because now once they stop hitting buttons, you mentally own their thought process, and you can go for like 1-1-2, back into another 1-1-2, or 1-1-2 into a throw. Perhaps, get sassy and go for an overhead attempt or something like that. But yeah, the main thing is Never go right into Frost Breath or Charge or whatever what you're going to end your combo with. Do it if it hits. You have enough time to visually assess if it's hitting and going into it. But if it's blocked, always check out that down one. Make sure they realize it's still your turn. Your turn is not over once they block this. And once this is established and they stop hitting buttons afterwards, you can really kind of crack them open with a variety of moves and tricks. Anyways, it's one of our more important tools of our arsenal, so please keep in mind. Now, something to keep in mind, Supergirl has a lot of options. She has fantastic zoning, she's got the advancing normal, she's the only character in the game that has a teleport like that. An attacking teleport anyways, because Scarecrow has a regular one, and so does Darkseid, but they don't come with the attack bundle in. Anyways, point I'm trying to get is she has options for days. Now, on the flip side of this coin is her damage is probably the lowest in the game. So example combo here. Uh, 300-ish, and I know it's a little different for each character, but like a lot of characters have meterless damage. I can meet that, let alone metered. On the whole, she does about 25%-ish less damage than most other characters. So how do we mitigate that and smartly work around this? So maybe if you're new in Injustice, you don't keep this in mind, and if you're a returning veteran, it should be on your mind. But stuff like the interactable bounces. So let's try another combo here. Oh. Oh, one more try here. Alright, so for the most part that was the same combo, except for the bounce. And it did 100 more points of damage for no bar. So Supergirl, once she has the interactables to work with, she can actually output a decent amount of damage. But she needs them. So it is in your best effort to stage pick in your favor. So like this, Gorilla City, movie theater, they all stages with wall bounces that are a decent amount of, take up a decent amount of the middle of the stage. Any stage with the wall bounce, all of a sudden your damage potential goes through the roof and you no longer have to spend bar for the already mediocre damage you're getting. So for Supergirl, more than most characters, stage really matters, so please keep that in mind. Quick note about the Kryptonian Charge move. So against, if it's available, it's one of her better sources of meterless damage here, about 200-ish, but it is very character specific. So on people who count as big-bodied, so like Grodd, Brainiac, Batman even, this is a natural combo that will connect on most things, like 112 into the charge. However, on smaller characters like the females and some other people, it will always whiff. So it's kind of a matchup specific thing, so if it's the bigger character, this is your best source of meterless damage, but if not, you're going to have to stick with the lasers. Anyways, quick little tip to keep in mind. So in summation, she's a very well-rounded character, and her only real fault you can name is just the low damage. And it's not a very critical fault. I would still put Supergirl in roughly the top 10 of the characters. So she's definitely on the upper half. She has nothing but upsides. The only downside is the low damage. And so once again, try to mitigate that with stage picking. It is not a cheap thing to pick a stage you want. They let you select it for a reason. And always be mindful of those wall bounces and, you know, any interactables or whatever. She's a power character, so she has a lot of good interactable use. And all in all, she's just very fun to play. Anyways, I hope this guide found you well, and go out there and play some Injustice.